Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to install the programs we use in class, how to install them at home, because luckily they are free, and so you should be able to program at home just like you program in class. Now, unfortunately the websites are kind of not very user-friendly, so I'm going to show you visually how to get there and what to do. First, the order of business is you need to install Java. You want to definitely install Java and get that done before you begin to work on Eclipse. To get to Java, Java is produced by Oracle, so if you go to Oracle's website, oracle.com, then I'm going to hit this drop down here to say that I want to see their products. So you will hit the drop down and go to products. Now once you're on the products page, you're just going to look for Java, which is right here. You'll see all of the Java products. Now there are lots of Java products and it can get confusing. So what I would do is say I'm a Java developer. You're not a consumer, you're a developer, so you would like to hit the developer link. And then there are lots of different Java options. The one that we're most interested in is just the Java Standard Edition SE. So we're going to select Java Standard Edition SE. And then you get to this page where you get to decide, we don't really need NetBeans for class for what we're going to do. You could get that if you want. This one will do perfectly fine, just a Java Developers Kit. Make sure you get the JDK, not just sometimes there's an option to download just the JRE. That's not what we want. We want the JDK. Then we have to accept our license agreement. And we're looking for the Java Developers Kit, Standard Edition. Now you have to decide what operating system you have, which is sometimes more confusing than it sounds, because you need to decide if you have Windows 32-bit, which is labeled as 86, or if you have Java 64 or Windows 64-bit. So if you're not totally sure what your operating system looks like, if you just open your Windows Explorer, right-click on this computer. Now, once you right-click on this computer, you're going to go down to the properties of this computer. When you hit the properties option, you will see I have a 32-bit operating system. So since I have a 32-bit operating system, I would have to grab this version here. You might have the 64-bit operating system. So I'm going to grab this for my 32-bit operating system. It's going to think quite a bit here. I'll pause the video while it downloads, and I'll be back momentarily. Okay, once that download is completed, you can actually run it from right here. You could just click it to run it, or you could go to your downloads folder and double click it to run it. However you would rather do that, but it is the great thing about the Java install is that it is an executable it's an executable install file. So all you got to do is double click it and it will be very user friendly. It'll pop up a window. You'll have to hit next several times, next, and all the default settings will be fine. Eventually it'll tell you you're done and that you successfully installed it. So if you just double click this, which I thought I did, it should just pop up, it should just pop up some windows and some guidelines, and then just hit next, and continue hitting next until you're done. I don't know where my install went to. There it is. Whoops. Okay, here he is. And basically just continue hitting next. It'll think a whole lot. Eventually it'll tell you that you're finished. So I'm going to pause this video while you hit next several times. Okay, eventually after hitting next, you'll get to this screen that says that you are done installing Java, and you can close that. Now just be absolutely certain that you have installed Java first and it is done before you try Eclipse, because Eclipse will be lost without Java. Now to get Eclipse, you can just say, go to their website, eclipse.org. You want to hit this download button. That'll take you to several options. And it's, there are a million versions of Eclipse. We want the one for Java developers. We really don't need the EE. If you get that, then you're fine. I would choose this one right here, just for plain old Java developers. Now again, you have to decide, pick the right one for your operating system, and more importantly, the same version. If you get 32-bit Java, you need 32-bit Eclipse, because they won't talk otherwise. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to begin my download, and it's thinking And so you should be getting this compressed file, which is unfortunately not an executable, not as user-friendly, but I'm going to pause while that finishes. Okay, now that you have this download completed, you can click this down arrow if you want and say that you would like to show it in the folder that it downloaded to, which is your downloads folder. So you're going to go to your downloads folder. Once you are here, there's the Java we've already installed. Here's Eclipse. What you want to do is right click on this Eclipse file, and again, you cannot double click it to run it because it's not an executable. So you have to right click this, and you would like to extract this file. So right click and extract. It will ask you where you want to put this file. Typically what I do is I would say place it on my C drive in a folder called Eclipse, which is where I already have my Eclipse installed, and it's going to just have to think for a little bit while it extracts that. So if you would just, again, I would put it right on my C drive. It's fairly easy, folder called Eclipse, and then let it extract. And I'm going to pause again while it does this. Okay, now that you have completed that extraction, you should be able to go to your computer, to your C drive, then you can go to this Eclipse folder that you created. There should be a little purple ball here. That is the actual executable. You can double click it to run it. I also like to send it, create a shortcut to my desktop. But do not drag this to your desktop. You want to right click and say send to desktop to create a shortcut. Once that happens, you should be able to open Eclipse and everything should be great. So you should be able to just double click this to open it. And if you'd like, a good test to see if everything installed correctly is try to write a little hello world program like we did in class. It will ask you when you open Eclipse, it's very strange because it needs to know up front where you want it to store the files, where you want it to save the files. Now mine's set to my teacher drive, but you won't have that at home. So sometimes I just make a little C drive folder called Java files, and everything will get saved there. So it just needs to know up front where you want to save things. When you open it up, there may be a welcome screen you'll have to close, and then you can make a project and give it a test run. So when you open up Eclipse, you may actually have a big welcome screen. The welcome screen will have a tab here with an X, kind of like this, that you'll close. This will be totally blank because you will have never programmed at home before. I don't know what that error is. We'll pretend that didn't happen. And if you want to check to make sure everything has gone correctly, you can say File, New Java Project. Give it a name, just like we do in class. You could right click it and say that you want to make a class. Call this class Hello World. Give this a public static void main string bracket bracket args, and just throw in a print statement. Then save it. Then you want to run it as a Java application, and hopefully in your console you will have some output, and you will know that everything, this is true test to see if everything installed correctly. I hope that video helps. Thank you very much.